Hello, good weekend to all. Basically, a review of the FTSE 100 and other European indices going, given the fact that this is a weekend video. Happy New Year to all, obviously 2021 now, and let the games begin. Be sure to visit my site and obviously my Twitter handle, where I'm obviously very active. Okay, in terms of the new year then, so basically how do we start the new year? You start the new year with COVID-19 mutations obviously increasing in multiple countries. Okay, stricter lockdowns in the UK, now talk of schools potentially being closed. And obviously it's a political mess with regards to post-Brexit euphoria certainly being baked into the cake as well. Okay, so yes, that's the focus. Obviously we've got concerns regarding OPEC as well. That certainly is going to be a potential negative factor. Italian government, I think, is in disarray. And Europeans are certainly extending their lockdowns as well. Obviously focus returns on the vaccinations and whether or not obviously they can handle the mutations. That'll be the key focus. Okay, in terms of the markets then, let's look at each one. Let's start off with the FTSE 100. Okay, so basically daily chart, we've got a potential double top scenario here. Obviously we had the Brexit euphoria, we had the vaccination euphoria, and now obviously we've got the COVID mutation fear, and obviously the numbers certainly aren't looking good. In terms of UK, 57,725 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours, and breaking the New Year's Eve record of 56,021. So that certainly isn't good news, and obviously that will certainly translate into risk off going into the new year. Now we did have a light volume sort of session, given the fact that obviously Christmas, New Year, etc. Whereas the volume certainly picks up, certainly looking at risk off. In terms of the market for now, we are looking at 6677 as that key pivotal high. So any potential short positions, certainly from my perspective, I'd certainly be putting a stop loss above that and looking for a potential flush. Like I said, the 6650, 6670 obviously zone is the key double top scenario for now. So daily chart certainly double top, and one would indicate exhaustion. In terms of the 60-minute chart, obviously this is the Brexit euphoria, vaccine euphoria, and then obviously the COVID mutations phase, and obviously increased lockdown phase, obviously increased restrictions phase, and that's triggered the sell-off in the FTSE 100. And again, like I said, you are looking at resistance now back above here, which is 6670. Any potential pop, certainly looking to potentially short the FTSE until obviously proven wrong. That's basically how technical analysis works. Okay, so key resistance, you do have multiple resistors at 6600. You've got resistance here at 6640, and obviously 6670. Moving on to a 10-minute chart for the FTSE 100, we certainly did close that gap quite impressively, and obviously even more. So that gap certainly has closed. In terms of the next moves higher, then okay, so you've got gap fill here at 6560 on the FTSE. So again, that level will certainly be vulnerable. Okay, in terms of your 10-minute chart, just drawing in all the previous support equals resistance levels. Okay, for any potential pop higher here. Okay, so we've got this zone. Okay, and then using your diagonal trend line, obviously again, okay, so looking at making my eyes go fuzzy, that is. Okay, 1 second. Okay, here we go. So any potential pop on the FTSE, you've got support now. Let's just have a look here. I mean, we did have support horizontally here, then obviously here. Okay, so you've got support down here, 6430, 6420. We popped as high as 6507. Again, like I said, looking to target potentially gap fill on the upside if obviously the bulls certainly couldn't gain control. So 6440, obviously one would be bullish in my perspective. And obviously if you get to 6500, 6550, that's a zone certainly turn bearish, unless obviously something extremely bearish were to hit the tape, and that certainly sends the markets into a frenzy. Okay, so again, this rally here was really more light volume, sort of euphoria, and then obviously we gave it back on the back of high restrictions and COVID mutations, etc. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see with the volume actually obviously ticking high this week, and in terms of which way the market moves. Let's just quickly cross-reference this with the FTSE 250. So the FTSE 250 daily chart obviously hit resistance here. Previous support equals resistance. That was a key inflection point in terms of FTSE. I think I did highlight that as well. And also FTSE 350. Have I got that here? Yeah, I have got the FTSE 350 here. So again, you did have a resistance in the FTSE 350 up here. 3850. We didn't actually hit that. Okay, so FTSE 250, 350 certainly hitting resistance, which obviously indicates a double top on the FTSE, therefore looking to potentially move lower. Obviously, if OPEC were to increase the oil supply, that certainly would exert even more pressure, and obviously if they were to close down all the schools in the UK, given the fact that that's exactly where we're headed, given these spike in numbers in the cases, certainly doesn't bode well going forward. And also Mr. Fauci has certainly criticised the UK as well in terms of their vaccine implementation, although I think he's a bit of a dimwit himself anyway. But nevertheless, let's not get into politics. Let's just stick to technicals, as they never lie to a large extent. Well, always. Hopefully. Okay, in terms of... Oh, unless it's a fake out, obviously. Okay, weekly chart. Obviously, a double top. I did highlight that as well, given the fact that Europe was at a key double top on the German DAX, and given the fact that the vaccine numbers, etc. And obviously, low volume was certainly helping the index to a large extent. So, really, the focus will be in that weekly double top. So, let's see in terms of the actual moves here. In terms of German DAX, it has been quite impressive in terms of that thrust. Obviously, Brexit related euphoria, vaccine related euphoria certainly has helped. Obviously, with the uncertainty removed, certainly triggered a short squeeze. In terms of French CAC, now that's not exactly as bullish as the German DAX, so bear that in mind. You are looking at a double top, and we've even failed to close that gap fill, which I'd highlighted. You've got one gap fill here, and obviously another gap fill up here. So just keep an eye on that. Oops, a daisy. I think I've deleted it. Oops, a daisy. What's going on here? Okay, let's just keep these levels in because they are quite important going forward. Okay, in terms of French CAC, so certainly looking weak on the daily chart from my perspective. That key horizontal zone certainly holding, and obviously the French CAC certainly moving lower. Now again, like I said, keep an eye on oil. If OPEC were to increase supply, then that obviously does bode very bearish for the French CAC as well, given the fact that it's very heavily commodity related. A daily chart on the actual Eurostoxx 50. Now we did have a gap level up here, which obviously we've closed, and then you got previous support equals resistance, which we reversed on, and obviously we're starting to potentially thrust lower now on the daily chart. 60-minute chart at the moment, we did actually put in a new high of just over 3600, and obviously we reversed. And be interesting to see how this certainly plays out on the back of higher volume in terms of the French CAC, because it is a bit unfortunately not very the flow certainly isn't there with certain days missed. Okay, so in the meantime, in the interim, obviously you got resistance at 3605, resistance potentially seen at 3590 as well, and you got gap fill below at 3496. It'll be interesting to see which way European equities certainly move as well on the back of higher volume and everybody coming back off the holiday break. On that note, please be sure to visit me, obviously on Twitter, where I'm most active, and certainly keep in touch, and wish you the best for the trading week ahead. Goodbye now.